Hi, my name's Sue Ellam and I'm a tarot reader. I have been for 25 years and I'm using the Mythic Tarot, which are based on Greek mythology.
And I'm Carrie Beleno, intuitive Reiki master teacher and spiritual life coach. And I am here with the questions.
Of which I have no clue.
She gave me some words. I made up the questions, stuck them in a bucket, and...
Bob's your uncle.
Yep, here we go. How do I compromise when something just doesn't feel right? So, you don't. That's it. Okay, Sue, over to you. No, I'm just kidding. Literally, if it doesn't feel right, then if the subject matter or the obstacle or the event or the decision doesn't feel right, you will not be able to compromise with a clean heart. And that is part of the problem that we are in as a society right now, because we continuously give in and compromise on things that aren't right for us. And it will bite you in the rear eventually, whether it be anger, anxiety, depression, health reasons, financial, some way along the some point along the way, you will feel the result of making a compromise that in a situation that wasn't right for you. And we've done that. We've always done that. And what I'm trying to guide and teach people about is to follow your heart right from the onset. If something doesn't or someone doesn't feel right, to act, to say something, to speak your mind, to speak your heart, to speak your truth, because it means that you are moving forward in authenticity. It is very important to be authentic. Now, if the thing doesn't really matter to you, if you could care less either way, then compromise to the point where you feel comfortable. But I think this question is talking more about compromising in a situation that just doesn't feel right. So you've got to change the situation. You've got to change the event. You have to back out of the deal or whatever it is. You have to say no to the job, or you have to put your new conditions up, your new conditions out, your boundaries. Because if you attempt to compromise with something that is not right for you, it will sour. It will turn wrong eventually, because our souls always find a way out of situations that don't feel right. So if you're one of those people that says, maybe it'll work out, maybe it's the right thing to do, if you're not feeling it in your heart, it's not the right thing to do, or at least the timing isn't right for it. Maybe it'll be the right thing to do in 3 months, but it's really important that you don't attempt to compromise. That's my hit.
Yep. Okay. Compromise. Okay. All right. Well, we're starting off here. All right, we're starting off here with the Hermit. And the Hermit is about listening to what your inner voice is telling you. So with compromise, as Harry was saying, if it's something you don't really care about one way or the other, then that's okay. You can do what somebody else would like you to do with no problem. But you have to really tune into your inner voice and be patient with it. Don't give an answer straight away if you're not sure. don't make promises when you haven't got a clear idea of what you really want to do, because compromise can be one of the traits of a people pleaser. Somebody that will do anything to anybody for anybody else, but they neglect themselves. Their own needs aren't as important as the needs of others. So it's part of that trait. And once you'll compromise and do things that sometimes other people know you don't really want to do, then you can get a reputation for being a pushover. So that's kind of going further down the line with it. So if you really listen to what your inner voice is telling you, be patient and be prepared. Take some time out to yourself to ask yourself the question, is this a compromise I'm prepared to make or not? I know when people get married or they move in together, people saying it's all about compromise. But in that situation, it's got to be a compromise which benefits. It's got to be a win-win. It's not right if somebody is the loser in situations, because then resentment builds up and then wedges start coming into the relationship. Like, oh, you always get what you want and I never get what I want. And then it's a kind of a downward spiral, really. So listen to what your inner voice is telling you. Go into, if you feel to meditate about it, it is an important thing. And then find out what you yourself feel comfortable with. Is this something that you need to put a boundary on? Or is it something you don't want to do at all? But always go back to what your inner voice. The Fool card here is saying you need to come out of your comfort zones as well. So a comfort zone could be the fact that you always do what other people want, that you always please other people because you think that's what's going to make you popular, help you be accepted. Sometimes people don't stop seeing you in a way because you don't ever show yourself. You're always doing what other people want. So you're seen more as like the doormat rather than an individual who's got a mind of their own or belief systems and thoughts and needs of their own. So for some people, not compromising is a big step. It's not something it's easy to do, especially if you're used to always doing and putting yourself last. And it's not selfish to put yourself first, because then you can truly give people your own unique gifts, the things that you can help them, but not by just doing what they want, because sometimes that's not good for them to always get their own way anyway. It's not a life lesson for them. But by being who you are and developing your own individuality, then you can truly help people in a different perspective, from a position of power and a feeling of self-worth as well. We come back to this self-worth thing time and time again with many of these questions that we answer. But it is coming out of your comfort zones and being prepared to jump off the cliff into the unknown. And if people don't like you when you won't compromise and do what they want, do you really want to be around those people? Because really all they're doing is using you. People that value you and love you, they're not going to leave you because you say, no, I don't want to do that. They're going to probably respect you more for it. So it will be a challenge, because you might find that with the Eight of Cups here, you find you've got people around and situations around that you've given 100%, and there's nothing else you can do. And you're giving 100%, you're only getting 30% back. And it's time to say, I need to walk away from these situations. I'm not getting anything back from these people or these circumstances that I'm living in. I'm not getting back in equal measure. So it's time for me to walk away and begin again if necessary. So this isn't a light thing, especially if you are an habitual compromiser. And that seems to be where the cards are coming from. If this is a habit that you've built up over the years, and sometimes it goes back into your childhood of always having to be the one that looks after people. And then, I mean, it's more often women, to be honest, that have been kind of historically in this position of having to be the nurturers and having to be, you know, the people that care. But there are many men that do this as well. But we kind of think of women really more, I suppose, when we're thinking of compromise. And but it's actually saying, no, I'm not going to put up with this anymore. It's not something that I deserve better than this. You know, if I give 100%, I want 100% back. You know, I don't want to be valued less than other people. And the Wheel of Fortune shows that once you actually start prepare to walk away from the situations that aren't growing corn for you, that aren't nurturing you, then opportunities are going to come your way. New things, you're going to set up a new energy. And it's like things will start coming to you, which will bolster you up, where you won't have to compromise anymore, not on major things. You know, for me, a compromise is, you know, do you want to go and have Italian or do you want Thai food? And there's three people that want Thai food and one person wants Italian. So you make a compromise, you go for Thai because there's more. That to me is a compromise, which is that's a harmless compromise. But when it's like kind of big stuff in life, you need to stand up and be counted and walk away from the people that expect you to always be the one that compromises. And then new things will come in. Fate will send you opportunities that you wouldn't even have known about. But it is important to say, go from how you know you feel about it. And if it's something you're not comfortable with, no, don't compromise. So that was a long way of answering, just as you answered the first couple of words, no.
Yeah, right.
We could have stopped at that, couldn't we?
Oh, it's okay, because I really think that this message is needed right now, because people need to step into their authenticity. They need to step into what they will stand for and what they believe and what their heart is telling them. And I think that we can help clarify that for people. So I really love this question, and I really love where we went with it.
Yeah, yeah. It is time to stand up and be counted, and be unapologetic about who you are. You know, just because you're not ready to take up arms and march, because that's not who you are. We all have our different things, different people we are. We were talking about this earlier, that we all have a different way, which is everything is equally valid. You know, you wouldn't want everybody to be up in arms.
Same. Right.
It's exhausting.
Right. Yes, there's
Okay.
a role for everyone.
Absolutely. So anyway, that's if you'd like to share, subscribe, that would be fantastic. To either one of our channels, we're not in competition about it all. You know, if you want to follow Carrie, I don't get upset. If you want to follow me, Carrie doesn't get upset. As long as the message gets out, that's our prime thing.
Agreed. And if you are listening on my podcast, you can head over to YouTube if you want to see the cards that Sue's actually pulling, and watch the visuals. So, all right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, bye from me.